Hi everybody, Patricia Coughlin again. Last time I was talking about some issues that pertain to almost any area of expertise. And I was talking about the need to understand basic principles in your particular domain and also things that are not quite so domain specific, but really pertain to the issue of mastery no matter what your field. But today I'm going to really be talking specifically to therapists who are wanting to do work of depth and significance that leads to real healing and cure of our patients' distress. And I'm going to be talking today about an analytic concept called multiple causation. The issue of multiple causation is that a particular symptom, in the case I'm going to describe, it's going to be quite a serious major recurrent depression, actually has multiple causes, that there are many factors contributing to this depression, and how important it is that we peel the layers of the onion and discover all of the different elements that come together to both create and then sustain or perpetuate the depression. And again, as a therapist, I'm very interested in the psychological causes, but in this particular case, there were also biological factors. This is a man whose mother and sister had both had intractable depressions requiring ECT. So he had a biological loading, and then he also had environmental factors that would predispose him to depression, in particular, the sudden death of his father when he was only 10, and the fact that his mother became severely depressed after that death and was really unavailable to him. So when I first started to see him and was exploring the recent precipitant to the depression, which had been about 2 years prior to my seeing him, it was the death of his mother. And so there we discovered both a pathological mourning process. He hadn't allowed himself to grieve. And it turned out that was because he had very complex mixed feelings toward his mother, a lot of anger and then tremendous guilt about his anger toward her because he also loved her. So we could see how he was turning anger back on himself. So that was one factor contributing to the depression. He also had guilt about that anger, which was driving a need for him to suffer. And one of the really important components of his depression was not just depressed mood and energy, but a really relentless self-attack that involved continual thoughts of, I should die, I don't deserve to live, I should just kill myself. Okay, so that is a very punitive voice, and that was also being driven by the guilt over the depression. So those are three, right? Anger turned inward, guilt with the need for self-punishment. Add to that the pathological mourning and the blocked grief. So already we've got three factors contributing to that depression. It turns out there was also a pathological mourning for his father because he was young, it was sudden, and then his mother got so depressed he didn't have any support to really experience and resolve his own feelings about it. And then the other thing that we ended up, so, we worked with all of these things, the anger, the guilt, the grief, and each time we unearthed one of these factors, he had quite immediate relief and lifting of symptoms, but then we would get to a deeper level and a deeper level. And then in the fourth session, we ended up discovering, or I ended up discovering, and it came out in the process of the therapy, that his mother, I thought she had only gotten depressed after the death of his father. What happened here?